Hey, hey, hey. Happy Monday. It's another day here, 20th of October, and hope everyone is well. And today is another market wrap up. So, first and foremost, if you were able to get to your account, congratulations to you. I think AWS, Amazon was down, and of course, as a result of that, the entire half the internet was down, really. So, not many people were able to do anything or was able to do anything today, really. So what would I say? Number one, first and foremost, I think everyone should really and truly have a backup. I mean, if you call yourself, well, not if you call yourself, not in a disrespectful way, but if you want to be a serious trader, then of course you should always have a form of a backup. But you know, especially it depends on what you are doing. You've got to be able to prepare for, on eventualities which might happen. Some people do have open trades they intend to close on Monday. Look, anything could happen. You could be investing, you could be trading, but anything could happen at any time, and you should be ready for any on eventuality. So first and foremost, just going to change this to a white background and let's see how it goes. Get used to this. Sorry. Some people say, why not just leave it as white? Look, white is great for you too. I prefer the black when I'm trading alone. And of course, great for my eyes. I'm getting old. Come on. Now, okay, first and foremost, if you look at the cues again today, it kind of felt a bit funny actually. This is an awkward day considering the outage that was affecting anything, but the cues are up. I mean, we're breaching back all-time high again, as usual. It doesn't feel like something to short, by the way. I think we're going to get like a proper blow off top eventually at some points, and that's what I can see right here. So we're breaching the lines, and congratulations if you're in positions and you're still holding on strong. Well done. If you've diversified, well done. If you're taking profit, well done either. And if you've lost, of course, you've got lessons right there for yourself to learn. Now, so that's that one there. The next thing I was going to talk about is, look, speaking of Amazon, so people might say, look, how does it affect them? It was all over the news websites, but the entire internet was down. Amazon is up 1.6% today. But again, I call this week the most important week so far. We are supposed to get FOMC on Friday, inflation results. But again, we can't because not FOMC. I mean, we're meant to get the inflation report on Friday, but we can't. Why not? Because it's a government shutdown. Apparently, there's a message from Scott Bessent earlier this year, and it said he kind of sensed that this thing is going to happen very soon, or it's going to be resolved very soon. And if it gets resolved, what does that tell us? Well, some people are saying maybe. I mean, it's just an opinion. Maybe the Republicans are eventually getting a deal with the Democrats. I mean, why not? Because right now we are blind trading, and we feel like, look, if these things happen, then of course that might mean all this data we might start getting. I expect the market to show a bit of a shake because people might think, okay, look, we've been trading on blind for a while now. Now we feel like it's time to take some back because I think going towards when they will be releasing this data, we don't know what this data looks like. So some people might try to take profit before then in case there's the volatility. Again, also oil today, man. Oil has been on a downtrend for a while. Look what is going on right here. Um, Again, so I was saying we almost had a 4-year low, but look, this is the April lows. If we breach these, then of course oil goes on a 4-year low. And again, like I mentioned yesterday, look, this oil back to almost 2021. Oil has been on downtrend. I think technology on ways to making oil has been a lot cheaper. But also, I think let's not forget this spells out a weak global economy for growth. You can only manipulate oil price so much. This thing is very global sensitive, and if these things happen, then of course we expect a spike in the oil. But I don't. So far, so good. We haven't really seen a persistent spike in oil. I mean, oil is a position I'm interested in very much. It's been a bread and butter for me. But for now, we just stay and watch. If I think there's meat in there, then I might call it meat. But until then, I'll just keep watching. It's really, really on the downtrend. It's quite poor. Likewise, the other lights commodity, cocoa. Cocoa's kind of been retaining where it is right now. But again, speaking of cocoa, I'm not seeing much. I'm not seeing much other than is it making the curl back up? But we'll watch. We'll watch and we'll start seeing. But apart from that, I still maintain it's the shiny commodity that is making the shine right now. Look at gold. Gold is literally back to all-time highs. And I mean, this is just impressive, really. Gold has been the best performing asset this year, overall on aggregate percentage. Also, what else? What else? What else? What else was I looking at? Yes, I did say this week is going to be um, the most impressive week, really. And where are we? Where are we? If you look at, I just made a list here today of a few things, earnings which are being announced today. And to be honest, I'm not exactly keen on any of them in particular. Yes, I know this week is going to be very important, but look, none of these guys is sound interesting to me anyway. I think the key guys, people are looking at Tesla on Wednesday. Tesla's been making a slight gentle run before then, and we'll see how it goes. Also, Netflix. I remember there was a time I was on X with Elon Musk, you know, leading the charge to cancel Netflix. But I think, and of course, then Netflix was on the light downturn. But if you notice, with Netflix down, it's actually been look at that. That's a 3% run, and things are looking a bit okay again today. But we'll see what the sentiments look like before then. Also, the US made they had an agreement with Australia today. I'll talk about something important that happened regarding rare earth minerals, but that has its own it has its own perks or disadvantages on my side anyway, because we know Australia, they tend to really play sympathy with China. A little thing happens in China, then of course, or China sneezes, Australia catches cold, like someone said. But yes, that they play sympathy. But of course, if you trade Aussie, you would understand. It's liquid, but not as liquid as China or as the Beijing market or the US dollar market. But yeah, so very important. I think the US moving away from that side. But does that mean we did not see some actions on the rare earth minerals? Of course we did. Look at that USAR, good 14%, and a few other things like that. Also, what else was I looking at? Yeah, anyway, this is actually interesting. Beyond Meat, Beyond Meat, it looks like it has some sort of debt restructure, and it did an amazing 127%. This one here was something we had in the group last week, Friday. I wouldn't say it's a great fundamentals though, because fundamentally, a lot of the 99% of this value has been wiped out, and it's just going to be there. At some point, they're probably going to do a split, reverse, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, until then, do they make a comeback? Not in my books, but we'll see. It's a heavily indebted, a company in debt. Also, Apple as well. Look, Apple is just a comeback king. It's been written off talking about Tom Cook resigning, but look at that impressive close back to all-time highs again. So generally, the market's still doing very well. Some of the quantums did not wake up yet from last week battering. If you've been in the shorts, I think I've left this a while back anyway. So yeah, still did not wake up. QBTS, like I said again, they all tend to move in the same wave. There you go. So look at that. That's a 10% downer. But anyway, I'm still looking at a few ones. Is it BBBY? I think that's got a similar pattern to Beth to be it's got a similar pattern to Beyond Meat. That's one I'm looking at, and not in many positions other than again still looking towards I think also ONDS came down as well. This is something I mean I'm just being partially not positioning, just paying attention to this area. Okay, and what else? What else? What else? So not much. Yeah, it's just one of those momentum that's been eventually catching showing that they can come down. But yeah, just looking at the watch list there. So yeah, I'm looking at the BBBY. That's one I'm looking at. And again, not particularly paying much attention to oil now because things are down. But again, I'm looking at what the play will be tomorrow because tomorrow we do have quite, I mean, today was just about, let's have a look. Yeah, today we had about 28 companies. Tomorrow we have 65 companies. That's Netflix, GE, Coca-Cola. So, that will be an impressive. We've got 3M. So yes, tomorrow I think I will be, of course, probably, intuitive surgical. So we have quite a few heavyweights tomorrow. We will be, if not exactly playing the earnings, but we can play these sentiments that, or sorry, the sympathies that comes with it. Play, if anyone plays earnings, and then I think that will be intraday when we can catch the move. And of course, some of them that reverse to the mean, if we still see the good meats in them, we can just run it back up. Or if we think there's one which is overrun, we can, of course, if you have to run it back to the downside. Yes, so tomorrow will be very important, and we shall be back with the feedback tomorrow. But I think until then, today wasn't really much of an eventful day. I did last week talk about the bios making a comeback, really, the biotech, and we can see here ultimately, look at that. They are waking up eventually. So I think this is something we can look at a lot in the group again as a group. But until then, I think if you are doing it alone, please find a community you can trade with. Don't do it alone. Invest. And of course, if you're not doing it at all, then I think the alternative is a lot worse. Of course, invest, trade, or do something, find something to do and a way to preserve your wealth. But until then, I shall see you again tomorrow when we shall deliver this again. Enjoy your evening and take care.